Okay, if everybody can get a seat, we will begin our Sunday celebration. Okay. Woohoo, yes. Well, good morning, everyone. Well, I see the cold didn't keep you all out this week. It's great to see everybody, and it's a beautiful day here in Hendersonville and at the Namaste Center. Few announcements that I'd like to make. Number one, the reason we don't have a bulletin today, Terry, I did correct spelling in your name.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I did. And they printed the wrong one. I was looking at the one and I said, this is last week's. So I don't know what happened, but we'll find out. But anyway, a few announcements coming up this week. Wednesday, our Enlightenment series is Ann Kiesler, aka Running Wolf. And she's going to be doing her women's drumming circle, and that's at 7 o'clock in here. So bring a drum. She's a wonderful facilitator, and I know that you'll all really love it. But it is for women only. If there's any men who want to start one, you're more than welcome. Also, just wanted to make you all aware of Trudy Peterson, who elderly woman that comes here. Wonderful, beautiful spirit. She has pneumonia, and I think she's okay. I spoke to her yesterday. She feels optimistic and sounded okay. So we're going to go visit her today, and she's grateful. She's gotten a lot of support. She's got a lot of good friends. So we'll just keep Trudy in our prayers. And I wanted to give just a little bit of time to our upcoming Thanksgiving dinner. It's going to be Thanksgiving Day at 5 p.m. And what we have scheduled is we're going to have music, and we're going to have dinner, potluck. We'll provide the ham and the turkey, and then if we're going to have a list of sign-ups of who would like to bring side dishes. And we need help setting up and tearing down and decorating. So if anybody is interested on being on that committee, just meet with me after the service over here, if you don't mind, for 5 minutes. I'll go over what we need, because I'm going to be flying back from Florida that day, and I get in at 2:30, be at a minister's conference. So that's going to be a quick turnaround for me. So I'm counting on a good team here, and I know we're in good shape. But Judy Sloan had created this wonderful sign-up sheet for us. And basically what it entails is your name, email, number in your party coming for dinner, what you'd like to bring, and if you're willing to help with the setup and tear down. So this is the sign-up sheet. So after the service, we'll have it over here, and we'll just get this all set up, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll just focus on all we have to be grateful for, enjoy good food, and all is going to be really fun and delicious. So I also would like to welcome anyone who's never been here before, and I'll start in this section. Is there anyone here for the first time? This lady back here, Georgia. Georgia, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello, I'm Georgia, but I spell it weird. I spell it Jorja. And when I lived in California, everyone called me Warha. I'm Norwegian, so I'm a Norwegian Hispanic.
Well, we're glad you're here. You know, Jorge, that reminds me of a few years ago, a friend from Florida came up to visit, and she, as she was coming off of exit 53, she drove by the grocery store, the big Ingles, and she said, oh yeah, she brought flowers. I said, oh, those are beautiful. Where'd you get them? She goes, I got them at that Ingles. And I said, so there you go. Ingles. And she was dead serious, Ingles. I said, no, it's English. So, but it works, right? And anyone in this section here for their first time?
Well, I'm at your new center for the first time.
Well, that's good enough.
My name is Helen, and I'm Claire's sister.
Yes, well, it's great to have you here, and welcome back. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, and this section. Okay. Jack?
Hi.
Hi, Jack.
Hi, Jack.
Well, welcome, Jack. And Jack is Denise and Dee's son, so it's great to have you here. We're happy you're here. And it's great to see everybody, and looking forward to a great day today. It's interesting. Last week was a low turnout, and today we're packed. What? You never know. It's very interesting. Yes, it was. You were probably out in the west. So let's just take a moment and take a deep breath and close our eyes and allow ourselves to breathe fully. All the beauty of this day and all the love from each and every person in this room. And just take it all in. And we open our hearts, we open our minds, and we ask that Spirit be in charge. May we each hear what we need to hear so that our goal of accomplishing more peace, more joy, more happiness in our lives is fulfilled. We place our center in the hands of God and know that all is well. And so it is. Amen. And I'd also like to welcome Aurora. She's always wonderful. Thank you for being here today and giving us beautiful music before the service even today. So she'll be on in just a minute. But for now, we'll welcome Terry Wetter. Yeah, there you go. We love you, Terry.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I heard
A
you.
little Indigada Davida.
I beg your pardon? Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for the spelling.
Yeah, that's right.
I used to live in California, and I used to go to a restaurant called Ho Ho's. Do you remember that chain over there? Anyway, shall we sing the Light of God?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, the light of God is in me, and it shines right out my eyes, making me a part of everything in the earth and sea and skies. And it makes me feel so happy just to know I'm not alone. 'Cause when you're a part of everything, everywhere is your home. Second verse? Alright. There's a light that shines within you, and it's with you every day, bringing love to everybody in the things you do and say. It's the reason that you're living. It's the force that drives you on. It's the stars up in the heaven. It's your morning sun. Okay, twice as loud. You ready? Yes, Terry? Yeah, okay. Oh, the light of God is in me, and it shines right out my eyes, making me a part of everything in the earth and sea and sky. And it makes me feel so happy just to know I'm not alone. 'Cause when you're a part of everything, everywhere is your home. Everywhere is your home. Is this guitar a little loud? I think it is. No, it's not. Okay. This is the continuing saga of songs from the new CD, which is nearly finished now, I like to. This is a song that Julie helped me write. And this is a song about relationships and what we believe makes them work. Key word is honesty. People say we're the perfect couple. I must say I agree. Wanna know how we keep love going? What's our secret recipe? I tell them that we found us a place where everything is clear, a place that's safe to be who we are, without judgment, without fear. But it only works when you tell the truth and don't hold nothing back. Trust in God, yourself, and each other, and that's how it works. And it works for us like that. We both learned our lessons, times we loved before. We didn't show the deepest of feelings, so the distance just grew more. 'Cause when you hide your doubts and your fears, keeping secrets, telling lies, it doesn't matter how hard you try, you can't keep love alive. 'Cause it only works when you tell the truth and don't hold nothing back. Trust in God, yourself, and each other, and that's how it works. And it works for us like that. So don't withhold your feelings, even if they seem unfair. Don't let a little problem ruin your day. Stand up and face it, get it out of the way, get it out of the way. Guess this might sound simple, but it's not easy to impart. Sometimes it takes all of your courage just to say what's in your heart. But when you do, you may feel a pain, but that won't last for long. You're gonna know a love you can count on, and you'll be glad that you were strong. But it only works when you tell the truth and don't hold nothing back. Trust in God, yourself, and each other, and that's how it works. That works for us like that. Trust in God, yourself, and each other, and that's how it works. And it works for us like that.
Good job, Julie.
That was Terry without whom we'd have had to got somebody else.
I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you. Yes, indeed. Okay, so we are going to have our meditation, and Aurora will play behind that, and then we will just continue to stay in our meditative state and be serenaded by the archangels and all the wonderful beings that come through her and inspire her to play so beautifully. So just take a moment and close your eyes. And take a few nice, deep, cleansing and healing breaths. And with each breath, your body becomes more relaxed, and your mind becomes more still. You are quiet and peaceful, open to receive all the blessings of the universe, which are only good. Take a moment to focus on all the blessings in your life. All the things you have to be grateful for in this very moment. For gratitude is your greatest gift, your greatest prayer to the universe. As we choose to ascend our consciousness into union with love, we release our past, our fears, our negative self-image, any future worries, and place all of our human desires in God's hands for the greatest good of ourselves and each other. See your body as it fills with perfect white light, permeating every cell of your being, radiating your perfection as a light being. For that is who and what you are in truth. You radiate this light beyond your body, connecting with each and every soul here today, as together we create a vortex of perfect love, perfect light, transforming sickness into health and fear into love. Envision yourself being in a bubble of this total love. And in this bubble, no harm can come to you. No fear can enter in. For you are always protected. And you are always loved. You are the light of the world. And wherever you are, God is. And all is well. And so it is. Thank you, Laura. Okay. Well, this has been Halloween week, and did any of y'all have trick-or-treaters? A few? I was up in West Virginia for trick-or-treat night, and my mother she's a little bit beginning dementia, and she was so worried that she didn't have enough candy for the trick-or-treaters, which there were none. And but it was so cute to go into town and see in Huntington in West Virginia, there's all the stores downtown actually offer candy to the kids. So my sister and I had dinner in the restaurant. As we're eating dinner, the cute little trick-or-treaters came in, and they just enjoy it so much, and it's so cute to see. Well, we too had a Halloween party for grown-ups here on Wednesday night, which was a lot of fun. Several of you guys dressed up and looked fantastic, and it was really great. John and Ray did wonderful readings. I think that some people were stunned at the accuracy of their reading. And sometimes even when you get a reading or get a message, you're not always like, well, that doesn't really resonate, or I can't understand that. But then as you think about it, it's like, yeah, I got it. That makes sense. And so we had a good time, and so I'm carrying out the theme a little bit, not really, but of the many faces of fear that we face on a regular basis. And, it's interesting because based on, I guess, where you go to church or don't go to church or what you study, some of it can be fearful. There's many preachers on TV that are, fire and brimstone and preaching the fear of God and scaring the daylights out of you. And then there's places like the Namaste Center where, we just teach and preach and live and love. And it's really a choice of where we want to put our heart and our energy and our intention. So a couple of things, obviously the media does not stop perpetuating, it's constant fear. The latest is Ebola. I just wonder I always wonder, like now they're so focused on Ebola and the election coming up Tuesday. But what happened to the problems that were so serious about 3 months ago? The war in the Middle East, it's kind of like, well, is that still going on, or what's happening? It's interesting. So little by little, I'm becoming less and less interested or even accepting of that message. For some reason, the propaganda of fear really doesn't interest me or support my higher spiritual growth at all. But it is real to some people. So again, it's really up to us where we want to plug into and what we want to bring into our life. Because it's a choice. It's a moment-by-moment choice. I'm either choosing fear or choosing love. Well, of course, the costumes were fantastic. And some of them were scary, and no one even recognized Barbara for the longest time. And I know you had on the same scary mask, and so I was like, well, wait, who is that? And I was thinking, I thought I knew, and then I didn't know, and I was like, okay, what's going on? But it's kind of fun. That kind of fear is just kind of fun to play with. And my parents, speaking of fear, watch Fox News 24 hours and 7. And and it is blaring from every room in the house. You can't escape it. That's like the worst haunted house, right? And but the funniest thing, I got up, I guess it was yesterday morning, maybe Friday morning, Friday morning, and that being Halloween, they had, I guess, Fox and Friends in the morning or whatever they call it. And they were dressed up, as superheroes. And they had these kids come in their costumes. And talk about fear, these kids were like petrified. They were like, what have I just walked into, this vortex here? And they were not enjoying the moment at all. It was hysterical. I just got such a chuckle out of it. But anyway, that was just one of my experiences here. But one thing that I think that, we don't recognize is, I mentioned it just a few moments ago, but the fear of God. That, I've heard people say on a number of occasions, I work hard and I've got a good, healthy fear of God. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, how can that be healthy? And how can that be of value or service? But many people are taught to believe that, that I'm a God-fearing man or I'm a God-fearing woman. And that's a program that's pretty prevalent out there in a lot of circles. And again, it's a choice. But so often, if we have this fear of God, I feel that we can't really understand what love is. Because I've come to believe on my journey, and I do back up by saying my experience as a child growing up in a Christian church was only about a loving God. There was no fear really at all, thank God. But, I noticed that some people weren't so fortunate to have that experience. So what happens is the fear of God, I think, equates to us not being able to fully love. But as I've moved forward and really been on this journey of awakening and studying and open-hearted and open-minded, God is only love. That's all there is. And everything else is an illusion. And the more I focus on the love of God and the love of everything in my life, that's why it becomes a spiritual practice. The more I practice loving and bringing things into my life that support that, then what happens, I can grow stronger in self-love and also the love of God and each other. And there's a lesson in the Course in Miracles, lesson 47, and that lesson says, God is the strength in which I trust. And the first sentence of this is so perfect because it says, if you are trusting in your own strength, you have every reason to be apprehensive, anxious, and fearful. And I find that to be so true because, it's what makes us anxious is all of our external stuff that's going on, the media, the propaganda, the fear of Ebola, the fear of not having enough money to pay your bills, all of these things that, seem real and seem like something we need to worry about. But if I trust in my own strength to fix the problem, it's never going to happen. So I love this. If we are trusting in our own strength, we have every reason to be apprehensive, anxious, and fearful. And it goes on to say, well, what can you predict or control? What is there in you that can actually be counted on? What would give you the ability to be aware of the facets of any problem and to resolve them in such a way that only good can come from it? There's nothing in us that can do that. There's nothing in our mortal minds that really can see the big picture and that can come from a place of unlimited possibilities because we're so focused on the problem rather than the solution. And the Course goes on to say, of course, of ourselves, we can do none of these things. To believe that we can is to put your trust where trust is unwarranted and justify your fears, anxieties, depression, anger, and sorrow. Who can put his faith in weakness and feel safe? Yet, who can put his faith in strength and feel weak? So again, it's a choice, and I find myself, whenever I'm anxious, apprehensive, or fearful, it's because I've gotten sucked into some daily drama that's happening. And the good news is I know I don't have to stay there. And that if I just take that pause, that deep breath, and say I have another choice here, and that the mantra that in lesson 47 is really saying God is the strength in which I trust. So God is in control of everything. As I say, I often say, I place my future in the hands of God. I say that 1,000 times a day, silently, aloud, whatever. And I mean it because I have tried long enough my way, and it doesn't seem to work too well. And so it's time now to step into the bigger role, the role that we were intended, which is total faith and confidence and trust in our Creator, which is an aspect of ourselves. We were created in the likeness and image of that. And there is no fear in God. So that means ultimately there's no fear in each and every one of us. But we have to be willing to let go of the past. We have to be willing to forgive. And, we all think we have reasons to justify our conditions or our circumstances. And that's a choice. And as long as we want to stay there, that's not going to change anything. It's the Course in Miracles also says that, there's nothing we can do to change God's mind about us. And delay is meaningless in eternity, but tragic in time, which means that, if I want to just hold on to this, whatever happened to me when I was 2 years old, 12 years old, this person was mean to me, that person did this or that, that's a choice, but it is a veil between us and our highest good. And so if I'm really choosing to walk the spiritual path, I have to be willing to let go and let God, as we've often heard. Now, in the very introduction of the Course in Miracles, it says the opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. This Course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. So again, there is nothing that can prevail against the love of God. But it's up to us, as the Course in Miracles says, it's a course in mind training. So all healing comes in the mind, meaning that whatever conditions show up in my life, I have a choice to be at peace or to be in conflict. I can forgive or love in every moment. It's a choice. But it's a practice. And it's one that, you may have a bad day or a bad week, and it's okay. But know that, it only works if you work it, as Terry's and Julie's song said. Lao-Tzu says that there is no illusion greater than fear. And, there is anything that is not of love is not of God. And so everything else is the illusion, as we've come to learn. And so there's no illusion greater than fear. So the good news is I'm going to remind each and every one of us is it's a practice and it's a choice to overcome that. And of course, Roosevelt, there's nothing to fear except fear itself, which is a statement, that he is known for still today. Lesson 48 in the Course, it says, repeat this idea as often as you can. There is nothing to fear. Does that make sense? It really is, it's a practice, because how quickly, you can be on that path. There's nothing to fear. I place my future in the hands of God. All is wonderful. Life is great. All of these things, and then zap, something happens and sucks us in. And it's up to us to say, nope, just gently put ourselves back on course and make another choice. So remind yourself, there is nothing to fear anytime that this illusion of fear comes up in our life, whatever condition it comes up. It can be in relationships, it can be, in your health condition, whatever. So we have to really go back to the perfection of who and what we are, and not give any more meaning to the things that have hurt us. Well, I love what the Course in Miracles teaches, and I'm going to be mindful and a little bit deliberate here in sharing this with you, because there's some powerful things in these next couple of paragraphs I want to share. And it's really the idea of there's only one problem and there's one solution. The problems can disguise themselves in a million different ways, but there's really only one problem and one solution, and we're going to talk about that. And I love this because the first sentence of this paragraph says, simplicity is very difficult for twisted minds. And how long have we been, do we value and take great pride in all of this knowledge, which is actually, a block between us and truth. Consider all the distortions you have made of nothing. In all strange forms of feelings and actions and reactions you have woven out of it. Nothing is so alien to you as the simple truth, and nothing are you less inclined to listen to. The contrast between what is true and what is not perfectly apparent, yet you don't see it. The simple and the obvious are not apparent to those who would make palaces and royal robes of nothing, believing they are kings with golden crowns because of them. So again, all of these false idols that we put before spirit and think they're really cool. And I'm not a person, look, we have manifesting programs here. It's great and fun to manifest fun things in our life. But do that from rather than a place of need, and that if I can get the robes and the crowns, then I'm going to be at peace. Just when we co-create with spirit, there's a far greater plan than we could ever imagine for ourselves. And the workbook for students in the course says, if you are willing to recognize your problems, you will recognize that you have no problems. And that's the truth. We really don't have any problems. Your one central problem has been answered, and you have no other. Salvation thus depends on recognizing this one problem and understanding that it has been solved. One problem, one solution. Salvation is accomplished. Freedom from conflict has been given you. One problem, one solution. How much easier could it be? But who sees the problem as one, as singular? What is that one problem? The problem of separation, which is really the only problem, has already been solved. Yet the solution is not recognized because the problem is not recognized. Everyone in the world seems to have his own special problems. Can you relate to that? Oh, that's too bad, but mine are worse than yours. Wait till I got a story that can top that. And we pat ourselves on the back, like it's something good, for crying out loud. We're twisted minds, right? And it says, yet they are all the same and must be recognized if the one solution that solves them all is to be accepted. The temptation to regard problems as many is the temptation to keep the problem of separation unsolved. It says after that, don't try to solve individual single problems. There are none. Mind itself is the problem. And that's so true. All healing occurs in the mind. It's only a problem if we perceive it or consider it. There's, in Alcoholics Anonymous and other 12-step groups, it talks about the alcoholic mentality as one which continues to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. If that is so, then all humans are in a figurative but very real sense alcoholics. This is an alcoholic world. When are we going to wake up? Because how often do we do the same thing over and over and expect a different result? It's like we got to step out of it. And so in some sense, we're all a holic of something, right? So, and it goes on to say what we're trying to use to fix the problem is the problem. So if we're attentive, we see that the problem solver is actually the problem maker. Have you ever thought about that? You have so much energy and it's like, oh, I got to solve all this and figure this out. And it's a waste of time and energy. It doesn't mean, though, that, I love the practicality of the Course in Miracles and the simplicity, the true simplicity. And it can seem complex because when you read it, it's like, what the heck did that just say? I mean, I can read a sentence and even now, 30 years later. But what happens is the simplicity of it is to really allow the Holy Spirit, which is the voice of God within us, the bridge from hell to heaven. The Holy Spirit will meet us where we are and lead us to exactly what we need to do to solve the problem. So in other words, just because it doesn't mean that we may not have to take action or read a book or go to a healer or a physician or whatever, but we're not doing it from a place of fear. We're doing it from a place of centeredness and peace, and then allowing Spirit to guide us through our problems, our perceived problems. And Thomas Merton, talks about the nature of the fundamental problem itself. And he goes on to say, both Christianity and Buddhism agree that the root of man's problems is that his consciousness is all fouled up and he doesn't apprehend reality as fully and really as it is. That is the moment he looks at something and begins to interpret it in ways that are prejudiced and predetermined to fit a certain wrong picture of the world in which exists an individual ego in the center of things. This is called by Buddhism ignorance. There's actually a Buddhist name for that, which is avidya, but I like ignorance better. From this basic ignorance, which is the experience of ourselves as absolutely autonomous individual egos, from this basic wrong experience of ourselves comes all the rest. And this is the source of all of our problems. So, we put our problems on a pedestal. Where do we give our greatest power to? The problem or spirit, the solution? And then we're always trying to analyze them and figure them out. The problem is, the solution is that there is no problem. Buddha says, to live knowing that suffering, illness, old age, and death are inevitable is not possible. We must get rid of life, get rid of the possibility of living. And so, we're eternal beings. Again, I look at the way we put so much energy trying to protect the temporal. Rather, if we would put a glimpse of that energy into nurturing the eternal aspect of ourselves and the love, this would be a much greater journey. And that's how we begin to truly live, is when we overcome the fear of death. So basically where this all comes down to is, what has been, unanimously, unequivocally said and continue to say to us today is the problem lies in our concept and perception of ourselves. That is the belief in separation and belief in separation and limitation, which is erroneous. That is the original sin. The original sin is believing in this whole idea of that it's possible to be separate from God. And through that, we've fallen asleep into this dream, believing that we're separate and that we have to somehow find our happiness in useless means. And so we have to really connect back to the divine essence. That's really what the one solution is. And it says that, the more we allow ourselves to, practice loving, being, nurturing this, that we can overcome the world. And our brother, Jesus, demonstrated that to us. I mean, talk about problems. He had a few problems in his life, but he came here to demonstrate that we are far greater than the problems and that the Spirit of God within us, I love, and I've shared this before, the same Spirit that rose Jesus from the dead dwells within each and every one of us. Difference between us and him is not the hierarchy. It's a matter of choice. It's a decision that we make on a minute-by-minute, instant-by-instant basis. And so the more we focus on that, we too can overcome this world. And that's where really our peace and our grandiosity subsides, not in this world. This world is just a blip on the movie screen. This life is. So we really have to go back to not original sin, but rather our original innocence. And, we are created innocent. I think you all have heard before my story about my niece who was, at her baptism, was actually, the priest called it an exorcism. And I was like, oh, wow. That's never heard it that way before. But, we're not born in sin. We're born in love. So you can see where that original program, as soon as we come out ready to love the world and be loved, many people are subconsciously or consciously, all of a sudden, you were born in sin and you're a sinner. And what hope do you have? And then you got to get that healthy fear of God. Well, once we have that program embedded in us, sometimes it's hard to overcome and it's fearful. But through practice, we can overcome it. And if you're afraid of it, I can remember when I tiptoed outside my Christianity, I was like, okay, and my sister was freaking out because it's like she was calling my parents from Florida. I think Charlotte's into something really weird, Mom. Anyway, what happened, I would pray to God. I'd say, God, if I'm going down a path that is not your will, show me, put up the blocks. I'm happy to go back. I just was feeling a call to study and learn more. And I got only green lights. And as a matter of fact, I've dragged a lot of my family along with me, except my brother. And he still thinks I may be of that other ilk. But that's another story, and that's okay, because I know he's perfect and sinless. And But, you know, we all have the extraordinary power within us to overcome any of life's challenges, which is really tapping in to that true nature of our being, which is only love. And in closing, this is just a great stanza from the Course in Miracles. And it says, as long as we perceive ourselves to be separate, autonomous beings who attempt to find meaning within the limits of our mortal existence, we probably won't. But there are some who find life for them who has a meaning. How is that? By the vague and obscure feeling that beyond, yet among this life, there exists another, more fundamental reality, a real meaning for life, in which this life is but a preparation. In the words of A Course in Miracles, there is a recognition, or at least a hope, that there must be a better way. And so it is, peace and love prevail on earth. Namaste. Mr. Terry. Okay, and we will bless our offering. And before I do the blessing, I'm really delighted to see that our Namaste Center is continuing to expand and grow, and it's an awesome thing. And we're considering in the spring maybe even adding a second service, so maybe an earlier one. Something, we'll figure it out. Because it's a good thing that we need to do this. We'll see. I'll let you know. I thought I'd have Julie do the morning one. Yeah, Julie, she can handle it. She can write the music. So just something to think about, and maybe share how you could see that unfold and what that would look like. A lot of times the second service isn't traditional as the 11, and sometimes it's exactly the same. So we can co-create that experience together. So let's hold our gift next to our heart and give thanks for all the blessings that continue to come to us and through us. And we share this gift as an expression of our gratitude and our prosperity. We ask that these gifts be used for the highest and holiest of purposes for our Namaste Center and all who enter here. We place our future in the hands of God and know that all is well. And so it is.
So the new CD that's coming out, it's got a title now. It's called Simply Love. And the idea is that we Julie and I felt that was kind of the answer to every question.
Yes, indeed. One problem, one solution,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. So, like, what's the solution to the problem in the Middle East?
Simply love. There you go.
So I said to Julie, so what's the answer to the question, what's for dinner tonight? And she said,
Simply love. There you go.
guess it is. Anyway, most of the songs on CD are original, but there are a few that aren't. And this is one of those that aren't, and this is one that you... What is that?
You're in competition with yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's jazzy.
By the way, nobody applauded after Aurora played it, and because it was kind of that moment, you know. But I think let's give a hand to Aurora.
Yes.
So here's one of the songs that isn't original, and I know you know it. So, when all the world is a hopeless jumble, and the raindrops tumble all around, heaven opens a magic lane. And when the clouds clutter up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from your window pane. place behind the sun, just a step beyond the rain. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I've heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star, and I'll wake up where the clouds are far behind me, when troubles melt like lemon drops way above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Wonderful. Thank you. Loved it. And I'm just feeling so grateful today for so many things, and all of you guys being here, and all those that help all the time and step up and bring your smiley faces. I'm just grateful. So let's have a time to close with our peace song and our blessing, and then anyone willing to help with the Thanksgivings, let's meet right after the service. Sure, sure. Okay, everybody get your hand. And if you guys haven't had an opportunity to watch one of these videos, Roland does a fantastic job. So we've got our hands taken up, and you are awesome, and thank you, Roland. It's fantastic, really. We are having a world-class production here.
Did you tell everybody we're doing Christmas Eve also? I don't remember you said that.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of holiday things. I'll put it out. So let's just take a moment and just breathe in this love and blast it to the center of our circle, and asking it to bless and touch every man, woman, and child, and plant and animal on our planet Earth and beyond. We give thanks for the continued blessings that come our way. We choose love, and we choose to overcome our fear in all ways. So it is.